Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our sort of guests. When I was younger, I had trouble learning how to dress myself. When I say younger, I mean 3, not 19 or 20. But I would try to put clothes on upside down. So my mother was very patient, and she would put them on me, show me how they go. It goes like this, goes like this, and then she'd take them off, and she'd lay them out on the bed in the proper orientation, and she'd say, okay, now you try. And I would proceed to try and put the clothes on upside down. Now, I didn't have a learning disability. I attribute the problem to the fact that I was born left-handed. And my brain wasn't quite adapted to a right-handed world yet. There's no shame in being left-handed. Leonardo da Vinci was left-handed. Jimi Hendrix was left-handed. Bill Gates is left-handed. Even President LeCompte is left-handed. So in the next few minutes, what I'd like to share with you, and hope you come to appreciate the struggle that left-handers go through every day, maybe have a little bit more understanding and a little more support. Now, this will go quicker if the lefties in our audience, as I give these examples, you don't shout out, "Amen, brother, you tell it, you tell it." Now, every day, the situations we find ourselves in range from mildly annoying to dangerous. On the mild side, you have debit card scammers. They always have the slot on the right side. Or if you get a new coffee cup with your LOL Cats picture. If you're right-handed, you get to see the picture, drink your coffee, and enjoy the picture. If you're left-handed, you hope everybody else likes the picture because you don't get to see it. On a bigger scale, things like Microsoft just put out Windows 10. It's supposed to be the end-all, be-all of their operating system. And yet, after all these years and all these additions, there still is no option to put the vertical scroll bar on the left side of the screen. So if you're a lefty with, let's say, a tablet computer and a stylus, you have to go over here to use the vertical scroll bar. So you're looking above and below your arm as you go to the page. Bill Gates is left-handed, you would think. That would have been the first thing he would have said to put in as far as features go. He's probably learned to adapt like the rest of us have. Power tools are very dangerous for left-handers. Now, smaller tools like scissors, can openers, you can order those in left-handed versions. But they don't make left-handed power tools. So if you're using a skill saw, as a right-hander, you grab the grip and the trigger with your right hand. Your left hand, you grab the guide, and you start cutting. The blade is over here, your hands and arms are over here, no problem. If you're a lefty and you grab the trigger and the guide and put your right hand on top, now that soft, unprotected flesh is only mere inches away from that spinning blade. It is quite a dangerous situation. If they're not going to make left-handed power tools, it'd be nice if Home Depot sold body armor. Now, of all the ways in which left-handers have to adapt, the one that we all have to learn and the one that's hardest to learn is how to write in a right-handed language system. Right-handers, as you all know, when you write left to right, you're dragging the pen in front of the words. You can see what you're writing, and your hand is below the text. So when you're all done, you've got a nice, neat piece of paper with your text on it. Left-handers have 2 options. You can either take the page and turn it 90 degrees and try and write downhill to keep the pen ahead of the words. Or what most people end up doing is the left-handed hook. Or a hook over the top to get the pen ahead of the words. Of course, this produces an indecipherable scrawl of funny lines that nobody can read. And in addition to that, as you drag your hand over what you've just written, you end up smudging and smearing the text. So it ends up being just a big mess. It's no wonder the worst grades I got in school were for penmanship. But speaking of words, even our language institutionalizes or discriminates against left-handers. In the 15th century, a word dexter was coined. Dexter means to the right. The word for to the left is sinister. Right? So if you're dexterous, if you have dexterity, you're very graceful, very adept, you're very skillful. The right side gets all the going virtues. If you're left-handed, you're sinister, evil, and prone to do harm. So you wonder why we're a little screwed up. Another phrase you may have heard is to say, oh, that's so gauche. Meaning, oh, that's so crude, that's so crass, that's so low class. The word gauche in French is left. Oh, that's so left. Thanks a lot. If you wish to compliment somebody at the same time you're insulting them, you've given them a left-handed compliment. Boy, you write really well for a left-hander. So I could go on and on, literally, for hours explaining all this, but it's time to wrap up. Just want to hope you understand a little bit of what left-handers go through every day. If you see a left-hander, you don't have to point out that they're left-handed. We know that. You don't have to make jokes. Hey, you're doing that with the wrong hand, you know. We've heard them all before, don't bother. And though you mean well, you don't have to tell us that you have a cousin who's left-handed. To us, that sounds like, you know, I've got a cousin and she's handicapped just like you are. You know, that doesn't help. All we want to do is be treated like everybody else and have some understanding that we are trying to cope as best we can in this backwards right-handed world that we're born into. So if you'd like to show some support when you're out on your social media, it's #AllLefties are all right.